for attending the panel today on Cybersecurity Workforce. I think we'll have a great set of discussions for you. We're going to do a round of introductions in a minute, but I first would like to thank Ms. Renee Forney for taking her time out of her busy schedule at the Department of Homeland Security to serve as our moderator and leader for today. So we thank you very much, appreciate that. And also thank the panel members for taking time out of your schedule to be willing to share your insights and wisdom and dialogue with everyone here at the table. We also are very appreciative and thankful that we have about 30 professors and students from universities and colleges from Virginia, District of Columbia, and Maryland that are interested in or actively studying in cybersecurity. So we thank you very much for being here today. We're going to have a very good discussion, but I think it's going to be greater and better if you students participate in this and ask us a lot of good questions and get the dialogue going. So at the appropriate time for the Q&A, please fire off your tough questions because, except for me, the rest of the panel will be able to answer them for you. So I'll just do a little background setting here at first. We're all familiar with all the different intrusion sets and the impact of that's happened over the last year and a half. And these intrusions have been into the government as well as industry networks that resulted in escalation of privileges and resulting theft of intellectual property, our privacy information in here, because a lot of us have OPM clearances, and that's probably out there for someone else's interest right now. But there's a lot of data that's out there. These are the public ones, the ones we know about. There's lots of others, but I have a sense that there are a lot of other unpublicized intrusions into government networks, which is taking information through encrypted channels back to the sources where they were, and we probably have no idea what that information is or perhaps what the impact could be on the government. So as we know, these intrusions come from or started by nation-state adversaries, organized groups that are serving as proxies to the nation-state adversaries, organized crime, and then a slew of different activists and hacktivists that are out there for different reasons. So in short, the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security are facing, as you know, thousands of attacks every day across the spectrum of these adversaries. The timing of this panel is good because just last week the DoD had its first annual Cyber Workforce Summit. It was a 2-day summit held last week with 30 different organizations from across the DoD coming together to talk about the cyber workforce challenges that the DoD is facing. And these are the challenges that the Department of Homeland Security is facing just as well as other federal agencies. Representatives from the Department of Homeland Security were there, as well as from the National Institute for Standards and Technology. And they were representing their organizations because they too are struggling with it, but also trying to figure out what the best practices are for cybersecurity workforce. It was a great 2 days comment. Some of it was classified, but there were 4 comments by 2 senior executives who gave the keynote speeches. And I thought they were interesting and pertinent to DoD at large and DHS, and so I'll share those with you. One of the senior executives said, "We are at war." So, you know, in the current cyber environment, we are at war and are treated as war. And this individual had just come back from DEF CON and saw what the adversary might look like over in that side. And he came back and he's very passionate about this. Another senior executive said, we need to position the DoD to survive an attack on a fragile infrastructure. That infrastructure also can apply to DHS as well as corporate America out there. He had a good point, though, is that if you have an expert who's working in the offensive side of cyber and another in the defensive side of cyber, it would be great to exchange those personnel into the other organizations and share their lessons learned, their practices, and their knowledge. So as he put it, that would up the game of both the defensive and offensive capabilities. So looked out the other day, and Burning Glass is a pretty good data mining company out there for business intelligence, and it mines out there for a lot of stuff. They do a report, this is the 3rd annual one, to say where are the cybersecurity job postings. So as you can see, this year there was 238,000 different job postings, and the map sort of shows where they have a preponderance of those. And these are the cybersecurity related jobs that are national. As you can see in the notes, certain sectors have increased in the number of job postings. And probably if you go back to the slide that showed all the hackings, you could probably do a 1-for-1 correlation on that. The number of jobs is up 14% from last year, so that means there's still a lot of jobs and it's a growing field. There was another separate report that came out just recently that said about 40 to 50,000 jobs are out there in the federal government that are looking for cybersecurity personnel. That's good news for the students in the room right here, both in about a year or 2 years. What the report doesn't say, however, is what skill sets are they looking for in what areas. Public sector would be very interested in this because it would help us define the workforce and would help us define the skills we need and the gap to get there, as well as what skills are needed out there and what we can take from industry to help us go in the right direction. So the key questions today I think we're going to try and help answer is, can the federal government meet its demand for cybersecurity personnel? 40 to 50,000 job openings out there. And can the nation writ large, which is the DHS mission, can it meet its demand? But also we have to ask, for these cybersecurity professionals, what are the right educational training and skill sets that are needed currently and in the future? So solving this problem isn't going to be easy. It requires, a lot of dedication, capabilities, resources, and a good, competent workforce. So a couple of us got together and figured out, okay, knowing what we do know, what's it going to take to try to meet a demand of about 40 to 50,000 government personnel who can come into the government and adequately be trained and qualified and to do their job through education training. So a conservative estimate is about $5 billion per year extra above and beyond what we're spending right now for Department of Homeland Security and for DHS. For DoD. So that's just a pure guess estimate. So we have someone else who can help us out. Congress does. So they're very well intentioned. Just in the last 2 years alone, they have produced over 8 different bills that might help out the cybersecurity education. Sometimes these bills are very beneficial to the target audience. Sometimes it's like we're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards. But the good news is they're trying to help out the federal government as well as the nation at large. So it's with this background that I would like to introduce our moderator for today, Ms. Renee Forney, who is the Executive Director for the CyberSkills Management Support Initiative at the Department of Homeland Security. This position reports directly to the Undersecretary for Management. And for the students in the room that do not know, an undersecretary in any organization is like Vice President of Operations, Vice President of Finance, or something like that. So it's a very senior position. And she's reporting directly on cybersecurity initiatives within the DHS as well as what's being done for the nation. And as you can see, she has a great service over the 20 years of both working in industry and other parts of the federal government for cybersecurity. And she's been an instrumental figure throughout industry and the DoD on cybersecurity to oversee and direct strategic management and initiatives. So the goal for CMS is to grow the pipeline both of cybersecurity professionals, both within the Department of Homeland Security as well as in the nation. And with that, Ms. Forney, I will turn the floor over to you.